I'm Zach. Let's talk about a very, very good movie. Let's talk about Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, the 1988 black comedy masterpiece from Pedro Almodóvar. I am in love with this film. I find it to be a comic celebration of wonderfully psychotic women, a farcical collage of feminine anxieties. It's hilarious, it's chaotic, it's twisted, it's erotic, it's sensual, it's sexual, it's absurd. It stars Carmen Mara, who plays a woman, an actress on television, whose attempts to kill herself keep getting interrupted by a series of escalating events, like events that are just escalating in their intensity, in their craziness, in their complete cinematic potential. When I called it a collage of feminine anxieties, I think the word collage is very important to this film in particular. From the opening titles, which are made up of collage artwork. I think the film itself is a collage of the screwball comedy, a collage of Hollywood melodrama, once again a collage of soap opera storytelling mechanics, a collage of melodrama, a collage of comedy. All throughout this picture, Almodóvar is not simply paying homage, but expertly excavating every genre element for all of its pompous hilarity, for all of its raucous, chaotic humor, mining all of it. And what would a screwball comedy look like in Almodóvar's Spain, in Almodóvar's Madrid of 1988? Well, it would look completely wild and crazy. I love the colors within the composition. I love the composition itself entirely. I love the way that the camera moves. I love that the camera is just as much of a comedic and melodramatic element as any one of the actors. And before we move on from just even mentioning actors, I need to say that Carmen Mara in this film as Pipa is legendary. This is one of the best performances I've ever seen. It's like her and, give me one second, my brother in Christ, I pay you to be in these videos. I pay you. You're on the clock. It's Carmen Mara in Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown and Charlie Chaplin in City Lights. Those are the two greatest performances in a comedy film. And that's an extraordinary thing to say. And I'm not shying away from saying it at all. She was just extraordinary. Every scene she was in was masterful. Every scene she was in was equal parts hilarious and touching, melodramatic and searching for the humor. I loved it so much. Mara's performance was expertly done. She was so incredible. I loved her so much. She's like, she's probably the greatest comedic heroine in any film ever. I loved her character so much. What I love most about Almodóvar are his postmodern elements. Within this film, we play with familiar Almodóvar tropes, right? About the melodrama, about the performative nature, not just of film itself, but of women and how women translate best through cinema, because the performative psychologies of filmic women serve cinema best. And because film itself seems to have a very deep affection for mentally unstable women, for psychotic women, which makes Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown one of the greatest celebrations, not just of cinema, but of women ever made. It's so fucking good, man. It's honestly such a funny fucking movie, man. There's so many there's so many great jokes, so many great gags. The funniest thing about this whole film is how it plays so openly with its own structure, with the structure of melodrama, with the structure of film, with the performative qualities of both film and women. And that just comes together in such a beautiful way, in a beautiful collage of elements, that just every scene is really funny because of the actual context of the film itself, that the film itself has made evident. It is hilarious. I consider it Almodóvar's first masterpiece, I think. I mean, The Law of Desire is really good. I like Matador a lot. But This one just feels different. Like this one is on the same sort of level, can be in the conversation with Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, Talk to Her, and my favorite film of all time, All About My Mother from 1999. It can be in that conversation. Like this film could hold its own amongst those absolute masterworks. So yeah, I think this is easily one of his greatest films. And I think maybe his first truly great film. Antonio Banderas is very funny in this movie. And of course, it's a celebration of psychotic women or of women that are romantically losing their minds. But its understanding of men, I think, is underrated because we don't get too many men, right? But Antonio is one of the men that we get to focus on, and he is a stuttering mess who is obsessed with kisses. I love that. That's so funny. I love the Candela, the model. I think she was played by Maria Barranco. Maria Barranco was so funny. She's so good with Antonio. I love that they're paired up together. And De Palma, the actress who played Marissa, it is just so funny. It's somehow just so perfect. And we get all the Almodóvar stuff that I love to analyze. You know, it's extremely theatrical. So much of this feels like beautifully bad cabaret, which makes it so gorgeous to interact with. Like I love the performative qualities of Almodóvar's film because I believe that most people are performative anyway, and especially if he's playing with melodrama within film as a medium, which is supposed to be some sort of imitation or at least a representation of life. He's kind of poking holes within the cinematic by just exposing in a very comic way just how much of a farce melodrama is, just how much of a farce romance is, especially cinematic romance, how much of a farce the sisterhood of women can be, how chaotic it can be. And by poking holes in the so-called imitation of life, you, I think, expose a huge lie within what we consider a shared human existence outside of the screen. The film is set up with dubbing over American films with the Spanish language, with Spanish actors dubbing over Joan Crawford, for example. And it's about the truth within that performative quality, because I think there is a truth within inauthenticity. Inauthenticity, I think, in a way, is more authentic than authenticity itself, especially if it comes from a performative place that is born of kind of stealing an inspiration or borrowing a hope or feeling fully in the image that you're seeing. That way, when you're like kind of dubbing over something, like the lines become yours, but you own them if you feel the emotions. And the performance itself, the fact that Mara is crying when she overdubs Joan Crawford's lines, she's crying, and it's even more authentic than the film itself, even though it's born of a place of complete performance and total performance. But like through a scene like that, and through many scenes throughout all of Almodóvar's work, and especially within Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, Almodóvar is showing us the authenticity, or at least the life within the performative qualities of women, within the performative qualities of all of us. That performance breathes life. That comedy excites us, reflective of the human experience itself. I think that Almodóvar's entire thing is that there is authenticity within the performance. In fact, the cinematic ideal, in fact, the idealized forms, the idealized cinematic life is more truthful than our own. And we can obviously bring the chaos, the eroticism, the humor, the life of Almodóvar's pictures into our own, and we can kind of steal Almodóvar's words and make them our own. Once again, Almodóvar proving that if cinema had a gender, cinema itself would be a woman. It is such a funny movie that you can absolutely find yourself enraptured by. I was completely captivated by this film. I loved it so much. Like I'm gonna rewatch it pretty quickly, actually, probably tomorrow. Like it's worth it. It's so funny. It's so funny, and there are all these fun layers because when you have a comedy, the layers are funner to peel back, right? You're not gonna go, "Oh no, what kind of thing am I gonna psychoanalyze about myself now?" No, it's a comedy, so you're having fun peeling back the layers because it's so absurd and it's so silly and so goofy. But with Almodovar, it's also so revealing, not of some harrowing personal truth. It's just revealing of the human of the actual human experience, which is a farce, which is full of anxiety, full of psychopathy, full of psychologies so desperate that they just have to be funny. I think our lives are made up of psychologies that are so desperate, they just have to be funny. They have no other choice, you know? Like, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown is a black comedy about a woman who gets interrupted when she's trying to kill herself by a series of escalating intense scenarios and colorful wonderful characters. Now that's way more relatable to me, and I think to most people, than any like high stakes completely earnest drama that I've ever seen. um, our lives are more like comedy. I think our lives like resemble melodrama the most, which melodrama, since it completely embraces the performative qualities of existence, the excessive outpouring of emotion, the comedic elements of even the darkest subject matter. I think that melodrama is the closest thing to what our lives represent, especially since I do believe that since we live in a culture that is kind of post-cinema, we've completely incorporated cinematic themes, structures, tropes, and archetypes into our lives, that our lives are cinematic. Our lives have become movies in a way, but like we're all really terrible directors in real life. So the movies are fucking, the pacing's all off, like everyone looks like they're a stand-in for someone who should be like much more famous and command the stage a lot more. Like the story doesn't really add up. I think our lives are a complete melodrama. And I think that by that extension, Almodovar's films, even though they are so dedicated to performance, to melodrama, to soap opera storytelling mechanics, to comedy, they're more true to life than any other filmmakers, because he fully embraces that which is so totally absurd. And I think most of our lives are completely, totally fucked and absurd. Yeah, I love this film. Carmen Mara is such a fucking genius. What a genius comedic performer. What a genius actress. She pulls off everything in this film, and it is so gripping and so funny. And at the same time, I take her so seriously. Like the perfect melodramatic actress. She was so cool. I love the films she did with Almodóvar. She's he has Antonio Banderas, he has Penelope Cruz, but Carmen Mara might be his greatest muse, though I do like his work with Penelope a lot. No, Penelope Cruz, I think, is my favorite muse for Almodóvar, but Carmen Mara is second, like tied with Antonio Banderas. Those are his three all-time muses. Wow, wonderful. He uses them all perfectly well. But there's a lot of cool elements within this film. Has a lot to say about art, a lot to say about cinema, a lot to say about television, even about sorted plot lines and the energetic ways that those storylines resolve themselves. Like there's a lot of bad education here. There's a lot of tie me up, tie me down here. There's even some all about my mother here, at least with the overall philosophy of our cinematic understanding of life is a feminine understanding of life. Therefore, life itself, as well as film itself, should be a celebration of all of the different qualities of women. And the quality of women that Almodóvar was most interested in exploring in 1988 was women on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I love Almodóvar's films. I love The View. I love women on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Mwah. Almodóvar's films are the only ones I kiss. Oh man, he's got me acting just like Antonio in this movie, just obsessed with kissing. This fucking movie, man. I love this movie. It's so good. Damn. Oh, highly recommended if you haven't seen it. My analysis videos aren't really about plot. It's about themes, philosophy, psychology, performance. I think deeper meanings to the film. So I really didn't spoil anything. And there are some awesome twists and turns here. It's just some great fucking humor, man. The funniest shit in this movie. I don't even want to tell you because like I don't want to give away some of the humor within it. Go watch it for yourself if you haven't yet. It's a blast. Yeah, cabaret for intellectuals. Cabaret for intellectuals. I even think that's that's the book Manuela reads to her son in the beginning of All About My Mother. I think that if I could call Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown anything, truly, yeah, it's cabaret for intellectuals. That's perfect. That is so good. Thank you for watching my video. My name is Zach. I am also known as your cult boyfriend. Feel free to call me anything you'd like. Just please give this film a watch or give it a rewatch if you've already seen it. It is so good. An absolute masterpiece, a classic. Thank you.